didn't we?
Yeah. Checking in again with our election experts, Mayor Stewart and Mayor Andrus from Homewood. I forgot where we are. And it's important to talk about these issues because there's a lot of confusion. And I think a lot of viewers are like, what is going on? Why even vote? I don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talked about this last week,
Yes.
and I learned, since we talked about it on Thursday, on Friday morning I found out that if the court order does not go through, then they are not going to have an August special election. So I think the takeaway is show up to vote every time the polls are open. We're going to be impacted if they do go forward, or if they don't. The 6-7 line is in Homewood, so that's going to move depending on which way they go with the map, but it's confusing, and just show up and vote.
Yeah.
How about in Irondale?
I would say that I wish that they would have allowed it to continue to be the way that it was before the Supreme Court did their ruling. It's already confusing enough for people to identify where they need to go vote. We experienced that today by just moving from the Civic Center to the library, and we had people going downtown to City Hall to vote. If they would have just left it where it was, because it really comes down to, it's all about an additional congressional seat. If we really care for the people, we really love the people, and the election is really about the people, we should make it favorable for the people to be able to exercise the right to vote. At a minimum, we could have waited until 2028 and put all the correct information out at one time, level the playing field, and gave everybody an opportunity to be able to vote for who they wanted to be able to put in that particular position.
And we heard from the Secretary of State just a little while ago, and he says that he's not convinced that this actually impacted voter turnout today. We know that historically primary elections don't bring out a lot of voters. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this could have had an impact on people kind of trying to do the wait and see thing first?
Absolutely. I mean, if somebody thinks it's not going to matter on May 19th, I'm just going to wait until the August election, but then we find out in the first week of June that we're not going to have an August election, now that person's missed an opportunity to have their vote heard, and that would be a shame.
And I also believe that because the ticket did not have a lot of competition on the Republican side or the Democratic side running for governor, then that has also reduced the enthusiasm that people have to get out his vote as well.
Obviously, there's a lot more enthusiasm when the president is up for grabs as well. This time, the people are only really determining the president's relation to some of the folks that are running in for some of these positions. So that makes a difference as well, probably.
But it shouldn't, because it's our whole state government that is on the ballot right now. So they really should be that, because local government is what is going to impact you more than anything. Is local government.
They say all politics are local.
It is, and it's true. Did your trash get picked up today? That's what we talked about that earlier.
Right. Did
Mayor
the police
Davis,
show
yep.
up today? Did the fire department? If you had
How's your school
something,
system?
if you're falling and you can't get up, we are there to be able to make sure that the citizens are free. And we're the closest to the people. I talk about that all the time. They can make decisions in Montgomery, they can do it in DC. However, when we make a decision, they show up the next morning to voice their opinion. That's a big difference between the other two branches.
Much closer relationship.
Much closer, Carl. Actually, too close.
All right, thanks again. We appreciate you guys being here with us, and we're going to continue to come back to you for insight throughout the evening.
Thank you.